First of all, your reaction to the tragic events of this week.
Well, it's unfortunate, and that's an understatement. And having lost my only son years ago, the suddenness of the loss and the unexpectedness of any single loss on a parent is overwhelming and sends you into a shock. And I can speak from the standpoint of those parents are still in shock, trying to acknowledge reality and their new normal. I hate to use that word going forward because their lives will never be the same. And it's almost a circus atmosphere going on around Uvalde in the town because of all the gawkers that are coming into town, the politicians that are coming in. All these different things are going on while these people are so deep still in their personal grief.
Well, indeed. May I ask you, if it's not impertinent, about the circumstances of the loss of your son? How old was he and what happened, Richard?
Well, my son was 9 months old, and we lost him in a heartbeat in his crib one night. He had never so much as had a fever. And so similar to what happened in Uvalde, it was totally unexpected because he had not been sick. And that unexpected shock. And parents are not supposed to lose children. Parents are supposed to pass first. And so that combination of those two factors make that loss so much more grievous than most any other losses we can suffer.
I'm terribly, terribly sorry for your loss and to your wife as well. An absolutely devastating tragedy. And we'll bring my panel into this conversation shortly. But can I ask you, as you've been through that tragedy, how do you begin to rebuild your life, Richard?
Well, that's a great question because initially I didn't care if I lived or didn't live. I didn't eat for 4 days. I was trying to take care of family. There was a total focus just on the shock. Didn't watch any news, didn't look at a newspaper. The outside world was totally oblivious. And fortunately, we had dinner with some friends that had lost a son, and they told us that over time, if we applied and were faithful, we would get hope to want to live again. And they even said that at some point we would have a day of joy and we would feel guilty because we felt joy instead of mourning. And that did happen some months later. And I can tell you that I did feel guilty about it.
Healing, very therapeutic, very comforting for many people. Tragedy, pain, it is part of life, Richard.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why I think the question a lot of people ask when something happens is, why me? Well, my personal belief and what I learned is we all suffer. So there's nothing special about me suffering or anybody else suffering because we all do it in life. And why me looks in the past, and our life is not in the past. And if we remain on that question, we'll get hung up and never be able to advance. And the lesson that I finally came to the conclusion on was the question was, what now? What am I supposed to learn from this adversity that can help me go forward and help me serve other people? And that question looks to the future, and that's where we need to move if we're going to get out of the mourning and have a progression in life.